Greetings, my fellow free Muslim province thinkers. L3 News Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangoes of South Florida, and today's date, Thursday, April 14th, 2016. Yeah, it's pretty late. And I'm actually in Sunrise, Florida for a few days, or a couple days, see what my decisions are. But I'm in, cool little campgrounds in Markham Park. Real nice area, so if you're ever down in this location, check it out. You won't be disappointed. It has a cool campground, little gun range. Some of the rules may be a little bit cockeyed for some, but with all due respect, it's worth checking out. So so I've been just mellowing out here and just minding my own business, just focusing on a few things. Try to take care of a few other areas as well. So I'm like, get my chops busted with the city of Fort Lauderdale, with these so-called hacks. However, I had plans to head out for a while and just do my little mosey around Broward County. So, got a few things lined up here. So it's not going to be that long. Probably I may lie about it, but it's basically basic stuff about going on in Syria, IMF, of course, solar power plant approved in Hendry County, Florida, which was a couple of days ago. And of course, the Bernie Sanders releases taxes. Ooh, and Hillary Clinton didn't want to do her records on the big banksters because she's one of those banksters puppets, as all we know, many of us here know. So mostly, just nothing really spectacular, I would say, but I'm gonna have fun as usual. So let's just check out here. It's actually from Global Research. Originally, it was on the Worldwide Socialist Web. I think that's the name of it. But it's on globalresearch.ca. This is by Bill Van Oken. It says, Plan B, CIA prepares to arm Syrian rebels with anti-aircraft weapons. It says here, the CIA working in conjunction with Washington's principal allies in the Middle East, including the government in Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Qatar, is preparing a so-called Plan B involving a dramatic escalation in the arming of Western-backed rebels fighting the Syrian government of President Bashar al-Assad. Oh, yeah. Oh, hail to the one world order. Imperialism, baby. Hail Caesar. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it says here, citing senior U.S. officials, the Wall Street Journal reported that the plan was directed at providing the vetted rebel units with weapons systems that would help them in directing attack against Syrian regime aircraft and artillery positions. Clearly, the same weapons could be used to shoot down Russian aircraft, which have proven decisive in providing air support for the Syrian government forces in taking territory from the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS, another one world order funded entity, the Al-Nusra Front, and other Western-backed Islamist militias. The plan being hatched by the White House and the CIA dramatically escalates the threat of a military confrontation between the U.S. and Russia, the world's two largest nuclear powers. Plan B is supposed to go into effect once Washington reaches the conclusion that its Plan A has failed. Plan A being the current efforts to secure the collaboration of the United Nations, Russia, Iran, and elements within the Assad government itself to achieve by means of a negotiated settlement, which has proven unable to secure on the battlefield over the last 5 years, regime change in Damascus. If the ceasefire collapses, if the negotiations don't go anywhere, and we're back to a full-throttle civil war, all bets will be off. And Obama administration official told the Journal the outside patrons will double and triple down, throwing everything they can into Syria, including much more lethal weaponry. Whoever addressed that maybe came from out of the teleprompter for all I know. The leaking of the CIA plan, which has all the earmarks of a deliberate trial balloon for a U.S. military escalation, came as U.S. officials charged that the Assad government is threatening to disrupt peace talks set to resume in Geneva this week by pursuing a fresh military offensive around the Syrian city of Aleppo. A cessation of hostilities agreement that went into effect at the end of February does not cover either ISIS or the Nusra Front, which are both defined by both Washington and the UN as terrorist organizations. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Samantha Power led the administration charge on this issue, referring to reports of a planned Syrian army offensive. She stated, That would be devastating for the people of Aleppo, of course, but also to this intricate process where the cessation of hostilities, humanitarian access, and political negotiations are related to one another. Oh, yeah. How astute of her. Good grief. Power and other administration officials are essentially indicating the Syrian government for going after the Nusra Front, Al Qaeda's Syrian affiliate, on the ground that it works in close proximity and close collaboration with other Islamist militias that the U.S. and its allies have armed and supported. State Department spokesman Mark Toner told reporters on Monday that the problem was that the group backed by Washington are not far apart and they're not clearly delineated from the Nusra Front forces in Aleppo and elsewhere. The reality is that these forces operate in alliance with the Syrian al-Qaeda branch, which together with ISIS constitutes the main armed forces fighting the Syrian government. Washington is determined to maintain these forces as a proxy army in its bid for regime change. Yes, we are the outsiders. We're going to tell you how to clean your rectums there, my fellow Syrian brothers and sisters, and you're going to get ramrodded in the end when we take care of business after our mission has been accomplished. Of course, Russia has responded by blaming the uptick in fighting on a buildup by the Islamist militias aimed at circling and blockading Aleppo. This operation has been facilitated by the flow of thousands of foreign fighters and large amounts of weaponry across the border from Turkey, Washington's NATO ally. The message sent by the leaked report on the CIA preparation for Plan B is clear. If the Islamist militias are able to sufficiently disrupt the cessations of hostilities and upend negotiations in Geneva, they will be rewarded with a powerful new weaponry from the U.S. and its allies. Glory, hallelujah, 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 yay. Flush. According to the journal report, the Obama White House is still deliberating on a less specific Plan B weapon system. Saudi Arabia and Turkey have reportedly both pressed for the provisions of man-pads, man-portable air defense systems. These weapons, such as U.S. Stinger, shoulder, fire, surface-to-air missiles, can be used to bring down low-flying airplanes and helicopters. They can just easily be turned against civilian passenger planes as military aircraft, and given the so-called overlap between the Syrian al-Qaeda forces and the Islamist militias backed by Washington and its allies, this is a strong probability. In the past, weapons funneled to so-called CIA-vetted moderates have quickly fallen into the hands of the al-Nusra Front. The CIA is supposedly looking at the possibility of providing less mobile anti-aircraft weapons. The journal reports the provisions of such weapons to the Islamist rebels would be flagrant violation of international law. It will likewise serve to prolong and intensify the bloodbath inflicted upon the Syrian people as a result of the U.S.-backed regime change operation, which has already claimed well over 250,000 lives and driven roughly half the population from their homes. The criminal U.S. policy being elaborated under the guise of Plan B poses a direct threat of a far more dangerous military clash between the U.S. and Russia. The Obama administration's willingness to risk such a confrontation was already demonstrated last November with Turkey's deliberate ambush of a Russian Su-24 firebomber near the Syrian-Turkish border. U.S. imperialism is not prepared to accept Russia's military intervention in Syria, consolidating a pro-Moscow regime in Damascus, with or without Assad. U.S. geopolitical and military strategy is aimed at preventing Russia from posing a challenge to Washington's drive to impose American hegemony in the Middle East, Central Asia, and Eastern Europe. To that end, it is preparing an escalation of the Syrian conflict that would ignite a third world war between nuclear-armed powers. Something that Albert Pike is that talked about this a long time ago. But the wars of dogma. And they're trying to, want to make this happen, want to control the Middle East. Because they have some real interesting history, hidden knowledge, allegedly speaking. And Assad, of course, he is considered a secularist government. So they're going to try to use this extreme radical Islamist militia. It's Assad. It's all he is responsible. But if you had drones and you say we're doing it for humanitarian effort, and everyone be in here would be going like salty the sea lions. This is really treacherous, my friends, because the whole thing is who is actually benefiting? The military-industrial complex, traditionally speaking, right? And this is why I always tell people, if these bastards like the Obama administration and President Obama, they all want to act tough and bad, throw their behinds in the front line. Let's see how tough and rugged they really are. And I don't really give a damn if they like it or not. Because the truth of the matter is, my friends, imperialism is dangerous. Been like that for a long, long time. Even long before the United States ever existed. The U.S. is just another passing nation to the one world order. So always think about that, my friends. This is why I am totally condemning this Plan B with a passion, and I am boldly proud of it. When will the people ever stop? When the people are going to learn? They're worried about some stupid, pathetic Church of Hollywood celebrities wearing some sexy pink dress. You have all these everyone manifesting with their photo cameras, or meeting some celebrity, or like Justin Bieber, or who cares what Kanye West said about Taylor Swift. Who cares? Whoopie doodah. Oh my goodness, he hurt her feelings. Boo hoo. And if people still manifest over these folks, come on. This is more essential than what's going on out there with La La Land and reality TV. I don't even watch TV. If I do, I'll be laughing at it, okay, or cursing at it. I try not to. I just go, who the hell cares? So I'm a little bit more at ease on that, to be very sincere. So definitely, my folks, my friends. I remember one time we talked about stopping making Syria a couple of years ago. People said, no, we got to do it again and again. And you let these people in Congress know. They support this, go on the front line. They see how tough you really are. Imagine Marco Rubio and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and John McCain trying to lead an army. That would be so funny. And Charles Schumer, and who grows his nose like Pinocchio. I love freedom. You know, and I say that ethically. So I just get a big kick out of these clowns, you know. And if everyone's still going out and rally about Democrats and Republicans, give me a break. Folks got to start waking up, all right? People are, which is great, but many of them are still in that one-dimensional and running the hamster wheel, you know. So, yeah, definitely. This is totally irrelevant, unacceptable, and I do condemn this with a passion. All right, next one here came out yesterday, believe it or not, by the New American. It's called the IMF called for negative interest rates. This here, the concept of negative interest rates, in which lenders have to pay to lend money or to invest, has gotten a big boost from the International Monetary Fund. The IMF stated this week the world central bank should move to negative interest rates because the extra monetary stimulus would ease lending conditions, or say they claim, I can dream about it. Do things half-ass backwards will make me be great. You know, this is a wet dream, I would say, my friends. Jose Ivanos, the chief financial advisor and director of monetary capital markets for the IMF, argued for negative interest rates in research papers, stating, although the experience with negative interest rates is limited, we tentatively conclude that overall they help deliver international monetary stimulus and easier financial conditions which support demand and price stability. Stripped from the status jargon. What Vinyls is saying is that the world financial elites want to inflate currencies to cause even more borrowing and lending, partly to keep prices from falling. Yes, remember, fiat, my brothers and sisters. They want to use fiat money. During the Great Depression, both Presidents Herbert Hoover and Franklin Roosevelt bought into the thesis that high prices and high wages led to prosperity. Both championed fiscal and monetary policies that led to a deepening and a prolonging of the Great Depression. Keeping interest rates artificially low is one way to generate inflation. Another method is what the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Bank of England have adopted since 2007-2009 global financial crisis, the so-called quantitative easing, i.e., buying assets to boost supply of money as an economic stimulus. Since Quantitative easing has clearly not worked, and the economy remains stagnant. Some supposed experts have now begun to champion the radical proposal of negative interest rates. This is such bizarro world. What do you say about that, my friends? Do things half-assed backwards will get you ahead in life. Last June, the European Central Bank adopted negative interest rates for the purpose of preventing banks from depositing money with it and instead having them lend to Eurozone business. About one-fourth of the world economy by output is presently experiencing official rates that are less than zero. Some critics of negative interest rates have offered the Keynesian model, increased government spending as an alternative solution to the anemic world economic activity. It's like a comedy show here. You know what I'm saying, folks? Come on. The reality is that the American economy has experienced negative real interest rates for now for about 5 years. Real interest rates minus the inflation rate, here defined not as the increase in the supply of money and credit, but rather by its effects of higher prices. Yeah, man. In other words, those who put money into interest saving accounts such as CDs, money market accounts, and checking accounts are experiencing a decline in what their savings will actually buy. Now, as a way to deal with continued economic stagnation, some financial elites, such as those who run the World Central Bank and the IMF, are even desirous of seeing negative nominal rates in which a person would actually have to pay the financial institution to put money into the bank. Yes, you are being punished because you got to put money in our bank. Could we say the word extortion? They worked in the local governments. Now they're going to do it to the banks, the central banks. How astute of them. It is remarkable that an educated person could make such proposals in a serious matter. Not only would such policies fail to stimulate the economy, but negative interest rates are just a method of economic risk distribution from savers to borrowers. These policies are particularly brutal to retired persons who are already receiving such low interest rates that, in real terms, they are actually losing money by putting it into the bank. By such manipulation of the interest rates by the U.S. Federal Reserve System and other leading central banks of the world, keeping interest rates artificially low is popular with those who borrow money, such as home buyers. And my dog is walking around in the camper, so if you hear the claws, that's him. His paws walking, that's him. Okay, so he's just a bit mellowed. It's basically a government policy to punish savers, and negative nominal interest rates would only exacerbate this punishment. That these policies will not stimulate economic activity, at least not over the long run. These artificially low rates may very well encourage borrowing by business and consumers, but these same people will be less likely to save money. If money is not saved, there is less of it available to be borrowed. Higher interest rates at the market level would encourage not only domestic saving, but investment in American financial institutions by foreigners as well. An interest rate is simply a price, like any other price, left to reach their own market levels prices, whether for goods or services, wages for workers, or interest rates. The price for borrowing money are a signal. In the case of interest rates to lenders and borrowers, if interest rates are low, this has a signal that people are ready to lend. This is a result of all individuals who have opted to save for a future purchase, for retirement, or just for a rainy day. This money now becomes available for loans to businesses wishing to expand. But if interest rates are high money in the short supply, these higher rates tend to discourage borrowing, but they certainly encourage saving. As more people put their money into savings to obtain those higher interest rates, money will eventually become available for lending. In short, the law of supply and demand self-corrects. No government meddling is needed. This is the free market's invisible hand at work, but for political reasons, governments are prone to use their central banking systems to adopt low interest rate policies. This creates a false signal, in some cases leading to a boom. This boom, however, cannot be sustained, and it has been generated by only a mirage of demand. The boom can continue, but only with fresh infusions of money, or in this case, continued low interest rates. Like a drug addict maintaining its high, it takes ever increasing amounts of the drug, which explains the ludicrous and radical proposal of negative interest rates. Eventually, the boom can lead to rapid increases of prices, which naturally destroys savings account Germany after World War I is such an example when the German mark plunged from 4 marks to the dollar to 4 billion and even more to the dollar by 1923. Usually the inflationary boom is halted long before it degenerates to that extreme, leading instead to a bust or an economic depression or the more politically correct term, recession. This great economist Ludwig von Mises explained how this works. His monumental treatise on economics, Human Action. It reads here, the drop in interest rates falsifies businessman's calculation. Although the amount of capital goods available did not increase, the calculation employs figures which would be utilizable only if such an increase has taken place. The result of such calculations is therefore misleading. They make some of our projects appear profitable and realizable with which a correct calculation based on an interest rate not manipulated by credit expansion would have shown as unrealizable. Entrepreneurs embark upon the execution of such projects. Businesses are stimulated. A boom begins. This is followed, we might add, by the inevitable bust with widespread business and bank failures and high levels of unemployment. Even the IMF conceded that long-term negative nominal interest rates could undermine the viability of life insurance, pensions, and savings. Instead of the negative nominal interest rates, the wiser policy would be for the government to allow interest rates to rise or fall to the normal market level. In simple terms, get out of the way. It's written by Stephen Bias. Okay, and you know what? He is right. And people talk ill about Mr. Von Mice, but you know what? And all those clowns, because you know why? Because a lot of people are so brainwashed with Keynesian economics, they don't even have a damn clue. Many of them don't have a damn clue about the Federal Reserve, the central banking system. And I'm glad they talk about the fall of the Reichsmark too, because that is something people should really look into. Ludwig von Mises was right in those areas. Okay, they need to step out, let the small banks do their thing, and it's time to use sound money once again. And you know, people, I understand people have the right to make a living wage and all that, but people trying to parade around with $15 an hour. But you know what? It's all fiat, my friends. We need to go back to the silver certificate. Okay, need to actually reactivate Executive Order 11,110, which John F. Kennedy signed, that make the U.S. Treasury manage the money without the Federal Reserve by any means. That's how we can get things going. It may not be perfect, but we can make it better. So, and even too, this whole negative interest rates, my friends, is a total con game. These individuals need a penile microphone in their mouth. And I don't say that as a sexual advancement either. And the one thing about the International Monetary Fund, they're a bunch of frauds, part of the one world order. They've been abusing, hurting countries for a long time. Look what's happening in Greece, for example, Portugal and Spain. If I'm correct, they're part of that group. Unacceptable, null and void. Get rid of them into oblivion. Use their facility as an outhouse. That's how I feel about the International Monetary Fund. I know I'm not the only one saying that. A lot of people are real critical over it. And here is by Sierra Rain, off the American Thinker. That came out today. They say the latest IMF economic report, a disaster for the West. In the case, the realists needed yet another reminder of what a disaster the 21st century is shaping up to be for the West. The IMF released the latest World Economic Outlook on Tuesday. Here's the rankings of the GDP growth by country. We'll start with the good news. Venezuela is ranked absolutely last out of 190 nations, with its economy projected to shrink by 8% in 2016. Brazil and Ecuador are sitting 185th and 186th, respectively, also headed backward by 3.8% and 4.5%. Now the bad news, China's economy, while slowing, is still ranked 12th at 6.5% growth this year. Pakistan and Iran sit at 42nd and 56th. The West West is an economic basket case, especially G7 democracies. The economic growth rankings are as follows: Australia 109th, United States 113th, the UK 135th, Germany 149th, Canada 150th, France 159th, Italy 164th, and Japan 170th. Emerging and developing Asia now make up 32% of the global economy, larger than the G7 share, 31% and falling fast. China's economy is 18% of the world total, ahead of both EU 16.7% and the United States 15.7%. The torch has passed. The West is on a trajectory for economic and geopolitical oblivion, and with it goes freedom itself. In case the realists needed yet another reminder of what a disaster the 21st century is shaping up for the West. Ooh, looks like it's the same thing. Yep, it's been repeated. This is totally unacceptable, my friends. Club of Rome 101, they benefit the most. They're using China, they're using other nations for their own personal gain. And it's a real shame. That's why NAFTA, GATT, World Trade Organization, you got to scrap it. Every country needs to revolt and tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine. They don't give a damn about you. They don't give a damn about the working people. And like the United States, they want to blame the Republicans. They want to blame the Democrats. Come on, folks, wake up. The political party game, it's like a pimple on someone's rear end. This is how you have to really look at this, my friends. And even a McLuhan person myself, you got to do your best to buy American, US-made products. Union, doesn't matter. Union, non-union, doesn't matter. But you may have those choices. But it's time to start really getting involved in these areas, especially supporting the local shops as well. You know, because there's too many big corporations trying to suck up everything, and this is why this is going. That's why a lot of the Western world nations are going into that disastrous economic collapse, Lord willing. However, we have to find other alternatives, including working together and doing things on a local level. May not be perfect, but we can make things better. All right, well, next one here came from Wink News, WINK News. Came out a couple days ago. It says here, solar power plant approved for Hendry County is in Clueston, Florida. Florida Power wants to build a 3,000-acre facility to house a new solar power plant in southern Hendry County, a plan that was unanimously approved by the county at a board meeting on Tuesday. FPL said the solar power is needed to accommodate the state's growing population. At Florida Power Light, we have the responsibility to meet the electricity needs for our customers and Florida's growing economy, said David McDermott of FPL. While supporters of the project touted is that the future of Florida's energy, nearly a dozen residents spoke out against the future site. Many said they are worried about the environmental impact it would have on residents and wildlife. FPL should feel ashamed for saying this could possibly be an environmentally sound plan when people whose ancestors who have lived here for generations and generations and know the land and know what that means are directly telling you you're full of crap, one person said. It's expletive, of course. The utility companies has also announced they had reached an agreement with one of the biggest opponents, the Seminole Tribe Council. But on Tuesday, the members of the Seminole Tribe and Mississippi Tribes told commissioners that they don't lend their support to the plan. FPL has only been speaking to the Seminole Tribe of Florida, who does not have the authority to make decisions that impact our tribe, so expect somebody else coming knocking at your door, one woman said. Construction of the plant could take 2 to 10 years, according to FPL. Good grief. And it was fun because they don't want to see people being self-contained, but they want a company to monopolize the solar power industry. That's we can say, welcome to neo-mercantilism. We know better than you how to do these things. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. We'll yank every dollar out of your pocket. FPL, effing people and loving it. This is a real shame. It's totally unacceptable. And you know what? The people in that county need to tell them to stick it. Because, you know, say, start your own, create your own solar power for your homes, for your facilities, and you don't need FPL. See, they want to run everything. I'll tell you how much you got to pay for it. They don't want us to be self-contained. See, you know why? Because they want you to be a dependent to them, a peasant, part of the technocratic plantation. Or monopolistic plantation. So you gotta say hell no to FPL Hendry County, and I'm glad that the the tribe, the Seminole tribe of Florida and Mississippi tribes told commissioners, we don't support it. And you know what? I don't either. So the truth of the matter is, my friends, keep the fight going. Hendry County and across the Sunshine State as well. All right, here. Got one more. Pretty quick here. Yeah, Washington Times. Who actually wrote this? I'll find out. I think who wrote this? I'm not worried about it right now. He said Bernie Sanders to release tax returns Friday. Hillary Clinton won't release Wall Street speeches. Yeah, the answer mama to the banks. Hillary, Hitlery, Hitlery. Okay, it says here, Senator Bernie Sanders will release his 2014 tax returns on Friday, but his presidential primary rival Hillary Clinton still refuses to make public transcripts of the high-priced speeches she gave to Goldman Sachs. Yeah, keep on spreading it to them, Hitlery. And all those people that support her, there's a bunch of Jim Jones. You got Jim Jones to do. Okay, man, Hillary, we like you, Hillary. We want the first woman to be president, even though we don't like you being the first country. But you're a great speaker. You still, we love being conned by you. All right, continue on here. Instead, Mrs. Clinton said Thursday night's Democratic presidential debate that she'll release her private speech transcripts as soon as Republicans such as Donald Trump do the same. Oh, up yours, please, glamour queen. Let's set the same standard for everybody. When everybody does it, I'll do it, okay? She said at a Brooklyn forum, which comes just days before the April 19th New York primary. Ms. Clinton then blasted Bernie Sanders failed to release his tax returns, but the Vermont senator said they'll be unveiled soon. He, again, said that his wife, Jane, handles the family taxes and has been tied up with campaign work. What we've always done, Jane has done them. She's been out on the campaign trail. We will get them out, Mr. Sanders said. He will release his 2014 returns on Friday and will release earlier years in the coming weeks. You know what? Who the hell cares? It's like a little dog and pony show, okay, my friends? Bread and circuses, distractions. But it's like saying that Hillary Clinton was walking antimatter. It's totally hilarious. And people say, "Oh yeah, I'm ready for Hillary. I have a great little beautiful lawn sign. I have a bumper sticker in my car. I love Hillary, but I hate freedom. I'm a damn hypocrite." This is why I just get a big kick out of this. Politics is just another form of entertainment. The late great Frank Zappa said, "I hate repeating it once in a while, but you know what? It's a fact. Immaterial." But you know what? I had to bring this up because it is hilarious, okay? Typical Comedy Central, a distraction. Because what they may have do under our noses if we really pay attention to this nonsense. Something to really contemplate, my friends. It's just a typical bread and circuses, dog and pony extravaganza. So be very sincere. It is going to be short, but you know what? It's cool. I'm not going to go too ape. So I'd like to thank everyone for listening. So please feel free to download and share this throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, compliments, criticisms, love letters, hate letters, or you want to send me something that's pretty cool, interesting to check out, however, please use your correspondence with decorum, and many of you have. Agree or not, I appreciate it. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Freedom Networks, and Scene.life. I know I've been counting this so many times. Or you can email me at lookyluck3, the number 3 altogether, at gmail.com. Before I sign off, I want to play a little cool song by Skyvclad off the Pokemon album, which is on Nuclear Blast. And this is called Any Old Irony. Come one, call all to our traveling circus. And I dig the song. Guy's very spiritually inclined, pagan roots and all that, but very Mother Nature and greater powers of humanity. If you haven't heard Skyvclad, you should hear their early albums. It's fantastic. The lyrics are brilliant. Okay, Martin Skylizer, they get from Sabat. When he did that, Folklore, you need to hit a fiddle. They're from Great Britain. So definitely check it out, my friends, okay? So, Once again, I thank you for your time. But always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you. Enjoy the song. Until next time, goodbye.